Now we've already learned about how general controls are the overarching pervasive controls to protect against risk to the information system. With application controls, we're almost working from the bottom up. Financial records ultimately result from the hundreds or thousands of transactions that occur in a company on a daily basis. Think about how many transactions run through a credit card company every day, or PayPal. Think about how many checks are processed each day by banks, or think about how many sales go through Amazon. If the process for recording these transactions is faulty, a company will quickly find itself with unreliable financial information. Application controls are about getting the process right to ensure that the companies have reliable data. Now these errors can be accidental or they may be intentional. So there are three places that this could go wrong. Ultimately what we're looking at is we've got these transactions and we want to get the data into the accounting information system accurately, and then finally we got to get the information from the information system to the user so that the user can make good decisions to improve the company. So we have three places that things can go wrong: during the input, during the processing, or during the output. And let me put this in another context for you. So my wife is a really, really good cook. And there's two consequences that have come about as a result of her fine cooking skills. One, I've put on a lot of weight since I got married. And two, occasionally I have to watch these baking shows with her. Now in some of these shows, these bakers have to make these huge elaborate cakes. And there's three ways these cakes can end up in disaster. One, these cakes have to taste good, right? So you have to get the right ingredients in the cake. Then you have to process the cake properly. It has to be cooked at the right temperature for the right amount of time, and it has to be decorated perfectly. And finally, even if you do this well, things can go terribly, terribly wrong. This happened to my sister at her wedding, actually. You actually, in these shows, have to transport the cake to the judge's table to get your final marks, right? So when we were transporting, it wasn't me, when the cake was being transported at my sister's wedding to the table where it would be cut and served, it didn't make it, okay? The cake was beautiful, multi-tiered, and it kind of collapsed down on itself. And we managed to salvage a couple of tiers, but it was put a damper on the parade, right? So three places that this can go wrong: input, processing, and output. And so we have three different types of controls: input controls, processing controls, and output controls. So let's talk about input controls. Input controls are designed to make sure that accurate data gets into the system. So first we have approval procedures. We need to make sure that any information that goes